Hi guys, welcome back. Week three, and in this week we're going to talk about the e-commerce system, which is a high-level overview of what you guys are going to build. So the secrets of 24 e-commerce gurus. If you listen to the podcast, you've probably got the context of this, but I'll just refresh it for those that haven't or can't remember about it. But cut a long story short, I studied 24 e-commerce gurus when I was learning about e-commerce. And multiple of those e-commerce gurus had similar things. I noticed a pattern. Like they had similar things when their whole approach or how they built the business. They had similar things in their strategy, similar things in their business plan, similar things in their operational tactics, and similar things when it came to how they built their teams. And I noticed that they're all doing these things. And so, I went on and I said, okay, well, with those things, like, what can I learn from that? Like, rather than reinvent everything, why don't I just focus on the few things that are working really, really well for these guys? And I'm going to share that with you, and you guys are going to build it because it's best practice. These are the e-commerce gurus, a wide range. They come from a lot of different countries, mostly US though. They are practitioners, so they're practical, pragmatic. How they come across their systems is through testing, learning about what worked, what didn't work, and then iterating and testing again. They did it over a wide range of years, and they all have e-commerce businesses that generate at least seven figures, at least $1 million, and it goes up. Russell Brunson on here, his business is worth over 100 million, to give you a sense of it. Anyway, there's a wide range of them, and I took out the best elements, and I'm going to share that with you now. One thing I noticed about them in their businesses, they had three things. They had a way to get traffic. Traffic, just a fancy word for saying getting potential customers to come into your store. The second thing that they had is they had a store that converted that traffic, those potential customers, converted them into a sale. And then the third thing that they had is they had something called an autoresponder, which automatically sends out emails to the people that came into your store to get them to come back into your store and purchase again. So those are the three things. This is different opposed to what everyone else tells you. Everyone else says, just build a website and you'll get rich. And it's just not true. It's not true. You need a system. So what we teach on this program is a system and all the different parts. Think of it like a machine. There's a machine and got different cogs. We're going to teach you about those cogs, and then we're going to teach you about how to put them together to make it work for you. The first element that we talked about was traffic. They all had this thing called traffic. And traffic is a fancy word for saying getting potential customers to come into your store. How you do that? There are many ways. You can do it by paying Facebook. So you can put your ad up in someone's newsfeed, or paying Google so you can put your little ad up when people search, or paying YouTube so that you can put an ad up when people watch a video. Or LinkedIn or all the social media. But you can also do something called organic traffic, which isn't paid, but it's where you create a piece of content that's so valuable it attracts other people to your content to come back to your website or your store that converts. To really scale up any business in e-commerce is you want both, but all the gurus mastered paid ads. So they mastered how to do paid advertising. Very, very important. We'll teach you that in later modules. I won't go too deep now. I guess the main point here is I see a lot of people that get stuck on, I'm doing my YouTube, I've got to do my posting on Instagram or my TikTok videos or my Facebook posts. That's nice. Yes, that could be important, but just remember that's just social media or noise. And really what matters is, can you get people to watch your content and come back to your website? And that's traffic. The second element that they had was a store that converts. So in our case, we're building a Shopify store. And in a Shopify store, there are many different things that we can do inside to make that the customers that come in, or the traffic that comes into our store, convert into a sale. We can see with this diagram that we've got here, there are different things that can be improved. For example, the buy it now button is bigger, and then that might create an improvement in people converting into a sale. Or this one store has something called social proof. Social proof is just another way to say people who use your product and enjoy your product. And having that on your store, your product page, helps people to convert into a sale. So there's quite a science to this. I won't go too deep. We'll learn about it later. The second part to it is in your Shopify store, you can pull this report out. And you can look at your store conversion rate. And it's a very, very important metric, your online store conversion rate. And we can see that for every 100 people that came into this store, 2.24% purchased something. So out of 100 people, now remember how much traffic you're going to need to get your targets, only 2.24% bought something. So that's just going to give you a sense of how you need to drive a lot of traffic to get the conversion rate at 2.4% to generate enough money for you to grow your business. But the other thing I want you to notice is the conversion funnel. And there's a number of different elements. There's add to cart, so what add to cart means is someone came into your store, saw some product, and then added it to their button, through a button into their cart, like a shopping cart. And there were actually 6.79, you can see there, that did that. Well, what happens is people get distracted, the phone rings halfway through their store experience, or the internet drops out, or something comes on TV, or some distraction comes around, and then they forget, they abandon the cart. And so if you look at the next stat, which is those that stayed in the cart and then reached checkout, we can see it almost halved. So we want to improve that. This is one of the key things in e-commerce to try to improve. And ultimately, those that made it to sessions converted, i.e. people that paid you money and there's money in your bank, it's 2.24% of all those that came into the store purchased the product. And that's about an average. That's about a good average. Okay, the next thing we want to talk about, the third element, was your email autoresponder. So when someone comes into your store, you want to capture their email address. It's very, very important. It's one of the most important assets you can have in your business, which is building up a database of email addresses so that later on we can send them a series of pre-written emails over a number of days, building a relationship with them. And so the pre-written emails might look like when someone enters the email address, they get a follow-up email saying, hey, thank you for entering your email address. We hope you'll enjoy our experience. And then that's 2 days later, we can see they get email 2, which is a piece of content. It might be your story, it might be about the products, or it might be about your values, and then 2 days later it gets another piece of email, but it's a content email. It talks about how you solve your customer's problem. We talked about that in it talks about how you can add value to your customer. And then only on the third email do we sell something. Because it's about building a relationship, remember, with the email autoresponder. As you're building a relationship, when you first meet someone, do you go and sell to them straight away in real life? No, I don't. So you want to build a relationship and you want to see how you can add value and help your customer. And that's very important. So those are the 3 things that all these gurus had, and we're going to build them in this program. Okay. Now we're going to go deeper. The similar things that all these gurus had in their business plan, they had 2 main things. They focused on a few customers, not everyone. It's easy in business to focus on everyone. So for example, I've got a beanie here today, and if I was selling beanies, I could choose to sell that to children, to mums, to elderly people, I could choose to sell it to teachers. There's so many different market segments of customers that I could sell it to. And that's a mistake in marketing online. We need to focus. We don't have a lot of money, so we've got to focus and invest that money the best we can. And the way to do that is they focused on a few customers, like specifically who were they? And we'll go deeper. The second thing that these guys had is they had this thing called a value ladder. The value ladder is how it's a range of different products on each rung of the ladder, each of those getting more expensive. And the goal is to try and sell someone into the bottom rung of your ladder and then upsell into a little bit more expensive and then something more expensive and so forth. And what that does is that grows the lifetime value of a customer. That's another important metric. We're going to learn more about that later in the program. But in short, the lifetime value of a customer is, if you take 1 year, how many times did that customer purchase from you? And the goal of e-commerce is not to sell to someone once. It's to sell to them not once, but twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, and so forth. And that is the key, one of the keys to e-commerce. Let's go deeper into these and let's look at a customer avatar. You're going to learn about a technique. There's a video and some more content that goes deep into this. But basically, you're going to be taken through a process and ask questions to identify who your customer avatar is. It's really, really important that you have your best guess. You don't have to get it right 100%, because as you go along, you're going to learn more and more about who that customer will be. But have a go. It's one of the key exercises that we've got here. And this is what one of those worksheets filled out looks like. And you're getting down to, just to give you an example, understanding the challenges that this customer avatar has. For example, Eric, who is purchasing a training program to learn about digital marketing. He has a business, and Eric's challenges are scaling that business, his business up as digital marketing business. He also has a problem finding, training, and retaining top marketing talent and keeping his marketing skills sharp while being the CEO operating the company. So those are some of the challenges. And this is how deep you have to get into understanding who your customer avatar is. I won't go deeper. That's coming in the content next. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is the value ladder. I want to go deep on it. And just remember, if you imagine a ladder with different rungs, and in each rung you have a more expensive product as you go up. And the goal of a value ladder is to ascend people that first come in and purchase or your initial product up the different layers. And how you technically do that is, once you get them into your website and you've got their email address, then you sell them things as they go along through your email autoresponder. So that's where it comes into play. Let me explain the value ladder. On the left-hand side, we have value. So value of product. You can see in this ladder, we have lead magnet, the price is free. So we create something valuable to attract people to come give us their email so that we can build a relationship and talk to them. So that's a free value. And then as we go up to the next stage, which is the initial offer, we're giving selling something worth less than $10. And then the first tier is just something less than 100. And then the second tier is something less than 1,000. And then, the top tier is something over 1,000. Those e-commerce gurus that I talked about, their top tier, they were selling things between 25,000 US to 50,000 US to be in their mastermind group, to be a part of a small circle of entrepreneurs learning their key secrets. So that's the value, why the value goes up on the ladder. And down the bottom on the axis is price. And we talked about that. It goes free, $10, $100, $1,000 or less, $1,000 or over. And so you want to put that together. Your exercise that you're going to do is you're going to have a think about what those might look like for you. On this, in the content that's about to come, it'll go deeper and give you some ideas. the things that I learned from Russell Brunson in this area, who's one of the gurus, is around the lead magnet. Making the lead magnet really compelling is very, very important. And how you do that is you have to understand the customer avatar. You have to understand what their pain points are, and what are they trying to achieve, and what's the pain around that, and why are they trying to achieve that. And then what you make your lead magnet should be solving that pain point or adding value to them solving that pain point. For example, if their pain point was learning to cook and they were terrible at cooking and they wanted to impress their mother-in-law, as an example. So the pain point is they don't want to be embarrassed by their cooking because their mother-in-law is coming over and they want to impress their mother-in-law because that's important to them because they love their partner. Dumb, but yeah. So what they do is that's the pain point. Then what we could do is a lead magnet is we could offer like a checklist of all the ingredients to purchase for an amazing recipe. And then we could create another thing, which is like a step-by-step PDF walking through how to bake a cake for the mother-in-law. And then we make a little video just demonstrating of us using our phone making that cake. So it makes it easy, passing on tips and so on. Those are some of the examples of a really compelling lead magnet that solves a pain point, which is why the customer avatar is really, really important. Anyway, you're going to go and dive deeper into the next lot of content around that. Yeah, we'll see you soon.